Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Female Filmmakers Fuse with Alexa Polar, only on LA Talk Radio.
Thank you and welcome to Female Filmmakers Fuse. I'm your host, Alexa Polar. I have here my co-hosts, plural, Robin Pabello and Kathy Dang.
Hi, everyone. Hey, happy Sunday.
Real quick, before we get to our guest who's holding on the line, where can they find us, Robin?
They can find us live every Sunday from noon to 1, or they can go to any of their favorite podcast streaming stations, as well as iTunes and Google Play.
That's right. And we're also on YouTube. We're putting up the shows on there, so it's easier to share on social media.
Yes. Give us a like, share, and listen in.
Callers, if you want to call in, the number to call in is 818-602-4929. That's 818-602-4929. Today, our special guest is Catya Plate. Catya Plate?
Correct.
I don't want to mess it up, and I feel like I did.
No, you're doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here on the show. This is awesome because you're an artist. An animator, correct? You do stop animation?
Correct, yes.
And just so people know, you're currently in New York, correct? Where in New York?
I am, yes. I'm in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, which is a part of Brooklyn.
Nice. And you were born in Spain, correct? Barcelona, Spain?
Correct.
Okay.
I was born in Spain, in Barcelona. My mother's Spanish, my father German, and but pretty much grew up in Germany, in Köln.
Okay, and then from there you came to New York. So you were raised in Germany and then came to New York at what age?
I was 25, and I had been studying fine arts in Cologne, and I didn't fit in. So I was like, man, I got to go to New York. So I applied for a Fulbright scholarship, and that's how I got to New York.
That's amazing.
Katya, what do you mean that you felt like you didn't fit in?
Well, so I was studying sculpture and painting, but my work was always like you couldn't quite place it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like a little out there.
Like in
and
a
that's what I mean by
traditional
didn't fit in.
In a traditional sense is what you mean.
Yes, exactly. I was just always experimenting with new forms, and my work was always very content-driven.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I guess it's good it was that way because that's how I got to New York.
Right.
Absolutely. And you did more installation pieces, correct? Like artwork for galleries and museums, correct? That's what you started off before you went into filmmaking.
Exactly, Alexa. So my training is not in filmmaking at all. I studied sculpture and painting and drawing and installation and had a lot of shows and I still continue, showing at galleries and museums. And I'm in a show this August, actually, in a group show in Newburgh at a gallery called Ann Street Gallery.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And your pieces
Did that answer your question?
No, it does.
Yes.
And your pieces can be found in various museums throughout New York, correct?
Yes, well, a lot of my work is in public collections. For example, I also did artist books, and there is one in the collection of the Brooklyn Museum. There's one in the Museum of Modern Art Library, all kinds of places, the New York Public Library print collection. And there are private collectors as well. And, of course, my studio is here, so if people want to see my work, they can also come visit me.
So, Katya, this is Robin. I just wanted to ask you a question. So,
Hello?
Hi, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear us?
Alexa?
Can you hear us?
Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Not at all.
Hello?
Hey, Catya.
It could be just a line. If we lose you, we'll try calling you again. Can you hear us?
Shall I hang up?
Here, hang on. Let's call you again, okay?
Yes, go ahead and hang up if you can't hear us.
I'll hang up because okay, you call me back?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, now I hear you again.
Now you hear us? Okay, let's try this.
Now
Robin.
I hear you again.
Okay, Robin,
There was nothing for a while.
That's okay. Robin, what was your question?
So, Catya.
Yeah, it's a very bad connection. Do you think it's better if we do it with my cell phone? I don't know.
We could try with your cell phone. We'll call you right back, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Bye.
I love this technical difficulties. So we actually had a little bit of a hitch and hiccup this morning, right before the show started, and just trying to make sure we get these glitches out.
Hello.
Let's try this again. Does that work for you, or should we call your other line?
Yeah, I'm thinking. The reason I gave you this one, I thought the landline was better, but maybe the cell phone is better.
Okay, let me try back then. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. She sounded pretty clear to me. What do you think, Cathy? Yeah, she sounded pretty good.
So how is your mornings going while we do this?
Our morning?
Yeah.
I mean,
or afternoon rather.
It looks clearer than it has been, thankfully.
But those fires are pretty scary.
Yeah, it was ashy on my car.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
But the sky's been pretty blue and visible.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that the wind dies down, at least for everyone's safety. We had some friends that had to be evacuated. It's pretty scary.
Shalom.
Did I get the wrong number?
Hello.
Hello?
Is Catya available?
Hello?
Hello. Wrong number?
Guys, this is fun.
I know.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Catya?
Hi, is this Catya?
I don't think that's her.
No? Okay.
I'm going to try again. That is weird.
You should try the landline number.
I think it's just going through numbers.
All right. Well,
let's
it's
try this
the
again.
day of surprises, guys.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Sunday
kind of
fun
fun. Sunday fun day, baby.
So while you guys do that, why don't you guys talk amongst yourselves?
Yeah.
Tell them about the project we're working on, Robin.
Which project are we working on? Because
The
we have
Blackstone.
multiple. Go ahead, Cathy.
Well, we're wrapping up shooting for the Blackstone, so we're very excited. I think we have a couple scenes left, and then we're going to go into post-production.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to help us get to the next level, please visit our crowdfunding page at Indiegogo and contribute however much. Anything is greatly appreciated. What is the web address?
I don't even know. I just know you can find it on our Facebook and our Instagram at the Blackstone
The Blackstone movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Is it okay, Catya? Can you hear us now?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
okay.
Not very well, but I can.
Okay. That's so weird because we called and we had a gentleman. I think it just crossed lines or whatnot. Robin, you had a question for Catya, correct?
Yes. So, Catya, I was going to ask you, what was your drive and your inspiration to become an artist, first and foremost?
Oh, my
actually?
God. What was that?
What was your inspiration to become an artist when you were younger?
Oh, what was my inspiration? Oh, wow. I think so. I grew up in a really dysfunctional family, like a lot of people do, and I was shy.
Okay.
And actually, I think I'm not really a shy person. It's just like the people around me kind of like scared the hell out of me.
Oh,
that makes sense.
So that makes sense. So I kind of focused on just my imagination. and I would be drawing and making things, and I was working with Legos and making cities out of Legos. I remember my parents saying at some point, "What are you doing? We didn't have much money. What are you doing with the Lego? You're not supposed to make crazy things with it. They cost money." But I was like, "No, I'm gonna just." That's like my place where I can go and feel safe.
Yeah.
So just develop that. And I would always draw and paint and make it. And as I grew older and I was going to school, one of the things that I did also as a escape is I went to the cinema. It's like a lot of films, and I would actually watch horror films, and they were not all the best ones, but again, as an escape. So I think out of that, and then I felt really well in the worlds that I was creating for myself. I think that was the inspiration, like make your own world.
Yeah. I think that's really inspiring
and very relatable. What transitioned you from the installation art into filmmaking? Because I know you still do your regular artwork. What made you go into filmmaking?
That's right. So that's a very good question, and it came purely through my art. And it was like in the late 90s, I was making works with clothespins, and I was doing that because my work has a feminist angle to it, in the sense of I use a lot of materials that are more related to women's work. Like there's a lot of sewing and texture and materials in it. So I was working with clothespins, and they were about body modifications. And then the next step was, at one point, I looked at the clothespin as its own little being and thought, I'm just going to, create a mythology around it. And the idea behind that was to, we live in such an angst-ridden times, but to find a way to deal with it in a humorous way and in a more optimistic way. So I created this character called the Clothespin Freak.
Okay.
Made a whole series on the tarot, my own version of it, the Clothespin Tarot.
Okay.
And as I was staging that, I'm sorry, this is like long-winded, but as I was staging these figures in their backgrounds, that I was already making film sets.
Oh, okay.
And I was like so intrigued by this. So I did this. This was like 78 drawings. Then from there, I moved on to making sculptures, because I felt like this character I can actually use to talk about any topics that are going on. So I was making cloning sculptures with this character, and they also made it into the paintings. And then the next step was, gosh, you got to bring these guys to life. You got to push it a step further, and that's how I got into animation.
And it takes a lot of dedication and time to do stop animation, because
very much, yes.
How long does it normally take?
How long does it take? Well, the film that's out right now, Meeting MacGuffin, which is the second in a trilogy, took me about 3.5 years for 10 minutes.
Wow. 3.5 years
and
for 10 minutes.
It's all handcrafted.
Wow.
Because for me, there is no other way to do. I mean, I don't know what the future brings,
right.
But, I'm a sculptor. I need to get my hands in that, and then the magic really starts. And just so the viewer can see all the texture and all the details. It's all part of this world to make it believable.
Right.
Because it's pretty out there.
No, of course. But that's amazing.
So.
And that is such a dedicated amount of time for a project, and the fact that you're consistent with it and don't give up, that's amazing. Because I know sometimes it gets difficult when you're filming or doing anything, and there's moments where you're feeling down or like something's not right and you're just like, I just want to walk away right now. But 3 years,
yes.
that's dedication right there.
For 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes.
Oh, thank you. No, and let me tell you, there have been many moments where I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I mean, there were tears too, but it's so rewarding when you actually get that first 3 seconds and it really looks like the way you wanted it. And you just go one step at a time, take a deep breath, drink some water, and continue. And, the other thing that might be interesting also, I've always felt very inspired by filmmakers and their films. Mm-hmm. I think more than by visual art. It's interesting, because I have there's my favorite films that I watch over and over again. So when I got into, and I should say that too, so it was then in 2009 that I created my own production company, which is called Clothespin Freak Productions.
I love it. Okay.
And did the first film was The Reading, which was live action and animation, and then the second and third, they're purely stop motion animation. And then I also produced a small documentary about me meeting MacGuffin with another filmmaker. Okay. That was in 2015. Was it 15? No, 16. And actually touches on exactly what you were saying, because I had quite a meltdown in that little documentary.
Oh, no.
While I was making it. So it's caught in there, so that's good.
That's good, though. That's good to get that frustration and show people that the vulnerability of it, because it's not easy. And the fact that you continue to push forward through it and then able to accomplish it and finish it, that's huge. That's...
Thank you so much.
That's huge right there, I know that one of the galleries in New York is a feminist, placed it in a feminist gallery, one of your artworks. You mentioned that briefly, that you touch on a lot of feminist materials or whatnot. Do you consider yourself a feminist artist?
I do. Yes, I do. Not so much in the sense of, in a political sense, like I'm not a man hater or anything like that. Right, not at all. But definitely, definitely in the sense of the sensibilities, my sensibilities, and what is more akin to us as a gender, and even when I watch films made by women or art by women artists, they're just so much more layered.
Right.
There is so much more to it. I don't want to generalize, but, So, in that sense, I see myself as a feminist artist in that my work is very layered, and there are very different points where you can enter it from. I think it's also how we women operate in life. Like let's say you have a family, you have kids, you are working. We're constantly switching to, oh wait, I got to do this.
Right.
And I don't know. I think the other day I read an article about when women sleep versus when men sleep. Women are always kind of like, they wake up very quickly because their kids may need something.
Yes.
It's a different awareness.
Yes.
And I think that we can see that layeredness in works as well, made by women. So in that sense, did that make sense?
And no, it does, absolutely. And you did make a good point when you were saying you don't hate men. I think what you described as a feminist is on point. That's what a feminist is. I think that anyone that feels that it's anti-men or anti any other gender is incorrect. Correct. I feel like anyone that states that it's anti-men is just trying to put a negative aspect to it. And
exactly.
There's nothing negative about it. There's nothing negative about being a woman, period. And I think that's great, because it's so true. I am quick to wake up. I don't have any kids, but I am quick to, if I hear my phone, and sometimes I have to place it on silent. If I hear my phone, I am quick to answer that phone at any time, just in case of emergency. And I know that when I go see my mom, and if my parents are both sleeping, my mom is the first one to get up, and her thing is like, what happened? It's just so she's waking up,
Amazing.
And I'm looking, I'm like, and I have to tiptoe in because I don't want to scare her. And I'm like, no, nothing happened. I just was checking in. And,
right.
So it's like, but you're absolutely right.
Oh, that's amazing.
We do have that instinct, that internal instinct, and it's something that doesn't shut off, whether you have kids or not. I think it's just internally, as a woman, is what we have, and it's
exactly. And I don't have kids either, but I see it even with our little dog.
Yes.
Yes. You're just right away.
Absolutely.
As you said, it's internal.
What inspires your art now? Like, because you said that you're not political. Is there anything that inspires
I think I am political, actually, but not in is it the Democrats or the Republicans or whatever, not in that sense. But my work is about climate change. And actually, to be a little bit more general, it's really about humanity's impact on the environment. And my work has always been about that. Not in a preachy way, but especially the films, which I feel like they bring everything together I've worked on through all these years, all my art, everything, it's all coming together. And so it really talks about that in, as I said, in an unpreachy way, in an imaginative way, by catapulting us into a world that's in the future. So, it's sci-fi.
No,
it's
that's
genre,
great, 'cause
sci-fi.
It's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's something that we should always be talking about, because we are causing a huge difference in our environment, and it is up to us. And I think it's great when we have people like yourself that are out there speaking out and doing everything that they can with their creativeness to spread a message. I think that's extremely.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's extremely important. I know, me personally, I have an issue with my cell phone. It's grown.
Yes.
It's attached to me, and I can't leave it. And I noticed that I went to the Sequoia National Park. There's absolutely no service there. And I was there for a few hours, and I think I was completely at peace. And the only time I took out my phone was to take pictures. But other than that, I didn't even want to do that, because I was just taking in everything, just looking at my surroundings and the beauty of it, and hearing every sound that I didn't even know existed. It was just extremely, extremely peaceful. And
that's wonderful.
It's something that I think we take advantage of, we neglect, and I think it's very important that we focus on that. Like the fact that they're trying to ban straws, we're trying to make little tiny differences, and I think they're important differences as long as we don't stop.
Exactly. Yes.
Because our ocean, the water is
agree.
The water is what consumes most of the earth, right? And it's so polluted because of what we've done. And
exactly. And actually, you're saying water. That's exactly what my films are about. That the water actually runs out in the future.
That's scary.
And that is actually a big fear.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think we're going to have wars with water that will be, sometime in the future.
I believe it.
And so in my films, again, it's very imaginative, and, I love making up stories, and I love creatures. So the groundhogs in my film they have seen that happen. They had seen that happen, and they've collected all the water that would drip in their houses. I mean, I'm using, urban mythology with the groundhog.
Okay.
And then but it's that, and the connection to that we're just, we're overpopulated, and, we're just,
it's very
resources run out.
Exactly. It's extremely timely too. I mean, you have what was going on in oh my gosh, you guys remember what was going on in the Indian the pipeline? Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Blake,
yes,
Robin.
I know, in Dakota, right?
Yes, Dakota pipeline, and you see they were fighting for that. That was their land, and they were not fighting for just them. They were fighting because it was the water, the resource of keeping that water preserved and clean. And sure enough,
exactly,
the government still did what they did, and there was a leakage. It still happened. There was a spill shortly after they did what they did, and this is what they were fighting for. The stuff that's
terrible.
going on with Flint,
so
Michigan.
Frustrating.
Flint, Michigan, still no clean water.
Yes, Flint. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Still no clean
Correct.
water. What are we doing about it? We're talking about sending military to space. Like, I don't understand that. We're talking about putting billions of dollars into Space Force instead of cleaning and taking care of our people and our environment and the water that they need in Flint. I don't understand
exactly.
it.
I don't know. It's just, attacking it from the different and the wrong position, the wrong angle. It's frustrating.
Extremely frustrating.
And then when people ask me, or they see what's the message in my work, these are the things that are happening. But I really think that if we become less selfish and more empathetic, if that opens up again in all of us, then we may be able to change things. I'm an idealist, I guess, but
no, same.
Gotta do what you can. You got to do what you can.
If you can contribute and you're one person, it does make a difference. I think it's very frustrating to me is that, culturally, U.S. versus everywhere else, the mindset is different.
Yeah.
I was born and raised here. I'm Filipino and Spanish descent, so I call myself a coconut because I'm white on the inside for sure.
That's cute.
But I think because I lived in Italy and I've been to the Philippines and I've traveled everywhere. It's just more of a mentality here versus everywhere else, and our waste consumption and our footprint here is so much more than where it is anywhere else. I mean, it's alarming and it's scary. I'm sure that plastic island that's floating in the Pacific Ocean has grown 2 times the size of Texas.
Yes.
And that's only been within the last year and a half, which is, it's just insane. There's so much we can do to help, unfortunately, I love Starbucks. So I will refuse to go to Starbucks or any place and get a drink because unless I have my refillable bottle. So the newest thing,
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
yes.
the newest thing is that they're saying we can't use a refillable water bottle, which is because it's too close of a mouth. So I bought a Yeti cup.
Oh,
yeah. So now there's no excuse, and I'm like,
good for you.
That's one way of doing it. And I have metal straws. I bought my niece paper straws.
Oh, you're so good. That's fantastic. That's great. And when you go shopping, bring your own bag.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your canvas bags or whatever.
Yeah.
It's I'm from Germany, and all countries do bad stuff. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
That's
they
one
do.
thing, but in Germany you can't get plastic bags anymore. So we're slowly waking up to that.
Yeah.
So
I think
good.
the more initiative
California
we take, I feel like the more initiative we take to make those small things, I take my dog to the dog beach, and in a quarter of a mile, I've picked up a bag of trash, and I'm just like, really? This is coming from our ocean. This is
wow.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Ridiculous.
Oh dear.
So,
yeah.
I just remember when I was 12 and I went to Peru. That's where I was born. I was born in Peru, but I've been here since I was 7 months old in the U.S. I went back when I was 12 years old, and I'll never forget that when we would buy soda, we would have to go back with the bottle. We couldn't go back without the bottle. And I didn't understand that, but it was a thing. And then my family would take their bread bag. They had a bag for their bread. It was like a nylon bag or a canvas bag. And then when they would go to buy bread, they would take that and come back with that same bag. And I just now remember that. And it was like, this is like how many years ago? And this is a small country in comparison. Yeah. And that's their difference that they were making. That was how many years ago? And, and I think it was consistent.
How many years ago was that, Alexa?
I'm 41. I'm not going to do the math. I suck at math.
But yeah, I feel like if we can all contribute in a small measurement, especially like through your messages with film, and your shorts and your art. I mean, that's another way of just subconsciously spreading that word and like making it an open topic to anybody that comes across.
Yes, I think so, and especially the medium of film, which when you have an exhibition, you're lucky if you get during the exhibition, which is maybe a month, you get maybe, I don't know, maybe you get 100 people, maybe in total, but with film, I mean, the amount of people that it can actually reach, it can be thousands, even millions. True. So that's the great thing about the medium of film too. Yeah. Besides of being just so much fun making it.
Yeah, that too. Catya, if that's the case, and it's really interesting, someone put this in my perspective, is like television and streaming right now has more probability of being watched and seen and shared versus a feature-length film, because there's only so many distribution of films that are out every year. Whereas if your platform is then streaming, whether it's a web series, and maybe you can create something of a web series and put it on there, stream, that'd be so super fantastic, because it's not just beautiful art, but it's also a message that is imperative to the human race.
Exactly. Very good point. Yes.
And what's great about your artwork, your animation, is that it touches on pretty much anyone can watch it. And what I mean by that, it's great for children to watch and get that instilled into their minds
with a great
and
message.
Learn exactly with a fantastic message, and then for adults as well. And I think that's ideal. Right. I think that's extremely perfect.
Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like I always say, I don't make it for kids, but it's definitely, I'm happy if they watch it, and, they may have to be maybe a little bit older, but I've seen really young kids also watching them. And again, it's so layered. You can get anything out of it depending on, where you are or what your interests are,
True.
So,
Has your artwork evolved? Meaning, because I know you use like a certain, like you said the pins and whatnot, the clothespins, and is there anything that you use that you found that works better, or that you would like to use in the future? When it comes to, I'm really a multimedia or mixed media artist, so I'm completely open to that, and I've worked with so many different mediums. I may not be thinking of a particular one right now, but that's the great thing, is like when I'm making the films or any of my art, it's all about problem solving. So right now, I can give you a concrete example. Right now, in the next short film of the trilogy, Las Novas, there will be bees, honeybees. Oh. And I'm just making a prototype. And, I'm already thinking, well, will it be that textile? Will it be with like scalp bee? Will it be? So it's like whatever I think or envision it should look like, then I just go on the hunt. That's great.
And experimented with different materials, and there it is. Let's use that.
That's perfect.
I've used my blood in my films.
Wow. Okay.
In my artwork. It has appeared there.
Okay. By accident or on purpose?
Well, and I'm very healthy. So what I mean by that, we would need like another hour to talk about this. I've worked with my blood before in my other works, and because it was about blood. and how diseases like AIDS and other infectious diseases have changed our, ideas about communication and sexual communication, and blood is just, it has so much, I can't think of the word, but anyway, I would go to a doctor and they would do a checkup, and I would just ask, could I have a few more vials, and then I put them in the refrigerator and then use them as I need them. It's also refers to the Middle Ages, and I must sound like a nut now.
No, that's, not at all. I know what you're talking about.
It's all very.
No, I know an artist that paints with blood.
So I can't think of one particular right now when it comes to, as you asked me, material. I'm completely open, and it just comes through, as I said before, content. My work's very content laden, so it always comes from there. How do I want this to look, and then I experiment from there with all kinds of material.
Now, the project that you're working on with regarding bees, is that because of them starting to? They're saying that there's less and less bees, correct? There's more dying.
Exactly.
And that's the reason why?
Exactly. So that's very frightening.
I'm not sure. Well, do you know why it is?
Mm-hmm. What was that?
Do you know why the bees are dying?
I've heard it's because of genetically modified seeds.
Yeah. I mean, oh my God, there's a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is that companies like, I think it's Montesano, I don't know if I say it right,
Monsanto,
but the pesticide.
Yeah, they're making bees implode.
And also, I saw a film, a documentary about the honeybees and the bees in general, and why this is happening, because they call it the collapse, and it started.
Colony collapse.
I think it happened like a few years ago, and they didn't understand why. And one of the things they showed in the film, and I was really in tears at the end because it was just so tragic. What they do, farmers or whatever, these companies that just want to produce honey, they take all the bees from one place to the other.
Yeah.
And that they can't work like that. It gave them so much stress that there is a mite, a little insect that they got infected with. It's just like with people. When we're too much under stress, we're more vulnerable to infection and diseases, and all these traveling the bees just make them work from one place to the other. That's some people think, that some scientists think that's how it how it happened, and many other reasons, but
yeah, it's too much of a.
So in my film, the bees, again, they're in the future. They're back. They're a little bigger, and this is animation. They look a little different, and there is a deep connection between the bees and this new human race that's being created in my films, because they're giving a second chance, and the Clothespin Freaks are the scientists, and all of them work together because the blood of the homies, the water part of it, is with that they can actually make the water a water renewal. They can get the water back. But I can't give you more from the story.
That's okay. That's okay.
Too much.
It sounds good.
But the bees play a huge role because they're needed as pollinators and get the water going. And anyway,
and that's going to be a short.
It's all
film?
very intriguing.
No, it is. And that's going to be a short film?
Yes, I know it sounds ridiculous.
No, it doesn't.
In a short film.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
at all.
It will be in the short. I mean, Meeting the Girlfriend, the one that's out right now, it's doing really, really well. That's the second, and it ends with them going to a place called Las Nogas, which is the place and the name of the third and last in the short trilogy, where I will bring it all. It all comes to an end. But I really love, as you were talking about it, the making shorts and series. And
yes,
I also want to do a feature, but I may continue making shorts. I don't know yet.
It could be. You could actually stream that as a series, even if it's just trilogy. But if you have these beautiful circle backs of what you're doing, I mean, that's That's very inspiring, and I love the message, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. I'm a DP, so like visually you telling me this stuff and seeing and knowing your work, I'm just like, ooh, I can't wait to see what this comes to be.
Oh, that is so nice. Thank you. Me neither. Well, it'll be a lot of work into this, but that's okay. I mean, that's another thing, and if I could tell that filmmakers, I mean, we live in such a fast-paced, world, but take your time, especially with the creative, process.
You don't want to
It's
rush
like,
that.
I don't know how long it's going to take, but also with each film, more people know about it, more people want to be involved and help you, and you have more interns, so that makes it a little bit faster, but the bottom line is it's not about that. It's all about quality.
Absolutely.
True. Well, I was going to ask you too, was like, since this is a very long duration of time of art, I was going to ask you, like, what are your capacities? What are the people that you're asking to do that can help you? Like, if there's listeners that are in there and they're interested in helping you, like what are you looking for in making these short films? Because I know the artistry of it is more of your skill, but to make the actual short films, like if you're looking for help, how can listeners help you?
Right. Well, actually, the biggest help is funding.
Right.
Always, yes.
I mean, that really is like Meeting MacGuffin. I funded through a crowdfunding.
Beautiful.
And it was great, and it worked out because I have incredible, wonderful voice actors in my film. They're professionals. I mean, one of them lives in LA. You may know Richard Horvitz. He did like Nickelodeon, and he's really amazing.
Yeah.
Misty Lee is another one who is also in LA, and then John McBride is in Philadelphia. Anyway,
how fantastic!
They're not. What was that?
I said that's fantastic.
Yes. I'm very excited, and we're gonna, I'm sure, work together again. But of course, you gotta, pay them, and then also sound design was by Studio Unknown. They're in Baltimore. Amazing people, amazing. And then also I had a composer that did the original score, and then so that all you want to be able to have these funds again to, get that same quality of.
True. So do you have
people from the industry to work with you again? And so that is really the biggest help I need.
Okay. So how can people help you? Like, where can they find that?
Yes, great question. Well, they can find me. I have a website, which is www.catyaplate.com, which is CATYAPLATE. Under that same name, I'm on Facebook. And my current film, Meeting MacGuffin, has also a Facebook page. And I'm also on Instagram with Catya Plate, and I'm also on Twitter with the same name. And people can follow me and see what's going on. I mean, I'm in a lot of film festivals. I just got nominated for Best Animated Film at FilmQuest.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And last year, it actually won the grand prize at the Rhode Island International Film Festival, the Vortex edition. And, Rhode Island Riff is actually an Oscar qualifier. So anyway, so they can see and follow my journey, so to speak. Where is it screening next, and all of that. And there's a phone number, and that would be great. That's how to find me. It's easy, and they can find trailers of the film. So you can't actually see the films online because Hanging by a Thread, the one before, that's with a distributor right now.
Okay.
And Meeting MacGuffin is still in the film festival, so I'm not releasing that anyway. And afterwards, it'll also probably go with the distributor, And the first film, they could find the reading on IndieFlix.
IndieFlix, okay.
Yeah. But it's really, if they get my name, it's easy to find me and contact me.
Excellent. And I just real quick, I know that social media, they're doing a lot of 1 minute pieces. Like for example, Facebook Watch does 1 minute or more sometimes shows on their platform. Is that something, because that reaches a lot of people as well, is that something that you would consider doing like 1 minute or 5 minute or less little shorts, just to put a message out there, and you can get it to like people like Facebook Watch, or even Instagram, I think, has their own station now too. A lot of the social medias are doing that, and they put a lot of money into it as well. It's really
interesting. I wasn't aware of it. I'm really glad you're telling me that.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
I would look into that, because
definitely
Facebook,
I'll look into that. So it's on Facebook.
Yeah,
and
Facebook,
it's like 1 minute.
Correct. They have different timelines of it, or timing of it. It depends on what it is. There's a couple people that do 1 minute documentaries and travel and spread messages to inspire people to travel or be open-minded about other locations. So it just depends on what you're into, what you find. There's all sorts of really insightful things that you'll find. I will look in, if I were you, I would look up Facebook Watch, because they are looking for new content. And I think that yours
thank you.
would
I will
be
definitely
perfect for
do that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you. That's great.
You. So we already know where to find you. I encourage everyone to, keep a close eye out and to invest if they can. Anytime you do a crowdfunding, let us know. That way we can put that out there as well. Because we want to see more of your content. I think it spreads a very unique and very unique and great message.
Yeah, I'll make it happen. No worries. I know. Or a grant or it'll happen.
It'll happen because
it'll happen again.
Exactly. It'll happen because it has to. Because you're spreading a really good message, so it has to come out there. So I want to thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you so much.
Please continue doing what you're doing. Thank you, Robin and Kathy, for being my co-host today. I hope you guys all have a very good and happy Sunday.
Have a great week, guys.
I had a great day. Thanks, Alexa. Thanks, Robin. We had some great discussions.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a great Sunday. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
You're listening to Female Filmmakers Fuse with Alexa Polar, only on LA Talk Radio.